One of the, I think one of the things that's come up most often in relationship with others that I had a lot of opportunity to practice at the house, learning how to live with these other guys in the fellowship, is something that in my prior life I kind of took for granted. And it's interesting because growing up as the oldest of 10 kids, I always leaned on that as a reason why I could, deal with other people. I could lead groups of people. I could do these things in relation to people that could achieve an outcome, right? So I always used that as my reason. I grew up in a big family. I can do these things. Well, I never really entered into relationship in a way where I allowed myself to be on the receiving end of someone else's pain. With my siblings, I was in charge, you know,
Mm-hmm.
my way or the highway. We did things the way I wanted to. If you didn't like it, too bad, right? And I never got emotionally involved in whatever they were going on, what they wanted to do. So the big friction for me was being able to take a back seat in the relationship and allow the other person to say, this is what I want. This is what I need. Here are my boundaries. Nick, do these things and we'll get along, right? That was antithetical to me. Don't tell me what to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of practice there because I was given it. I wasn't the only, potentially alpha person in the room, right? I had other people who held me in check because they also had needs. They also had desires. Um, and going into the dating world, I think that really helped. That helped me understand it's not about me. And the only way I'm going to really get to know this other person is if I let them tell me what they want, what they like, how they operate, all the things. You know, I could let my guard down, be vulnerable, give myself over to learning about another person intimately, um, and actually listen. Right? Listen with the intent to understand, not with a response queued up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
My knowledge. So yeah, that was probably the biggest thing coming out of that. That in the dating world, in going into that, which was interesting because when I first put my foot back in the dating world, we're mid pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there were, you know, there were a few people who were willing to meet in person, but everything else was at a distance, and that was not. I'm not used to that. It was my first time ever doing online dating for one, um, but I also had to just kind of you know swallow my pride a little bit and let other people in, even if it was a remote interaction. I think I got a lot more out of it with that attitude, and that was forged in the fire of learning how to live rightly with other guys.
So, what was the fear level getting back into dating after so many years of just doing your thing and recovery?
Mm. I think initially there was a good amount of anxiety, but it was driven by future tripping, these kind of natural instinct to try to anticipate the outcome. Oh, these people aren't going to like me. My
Mm-hmm.
profile's not going to catch the right one. Whatever. Um, but I would say that was short lived. By the grace of God, I came to realize, hey, a big part of my success in this is going to be um, in direct proportion to my ability to trust in God, let go of my control of the situation. It doesn't matter. You put me out there, and God will find someone who's okay to meet that, right? Which is actually a good realization. I think I learned this time around that my idea of the perfect spouse, the perfect partner, could very well be flawed. My best thinking got me here. So, what's to say I'm not going to just continue digging more holes in my life by doing the thing the way I want to,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, letting the chips fall where they may, predicated on having been honest, put myself out there truthfully and not kind of painted a false picture. Right? I'm not catfishing anybody. I'm putting me out there. This is who I am. This is what I'm about. The realization that God's got a plan. He's found someone, and He'll help connect those dots. That helped quickly alleviate any anxiety. So I think that the fear level quickly dissipated.